Today, let me talk about Dennis Miracles Aboagye, because after his release from EOCO custody, Dennis went on radio and made some very serious claims. He said EOCO did not question him about the 55 million Ghana cedis as alleged. According to him, the amount he was interrogated on was only 5 million Ghana cedis. So before I say anything, listen to Dennis himself.
First of all, you and I know what we've been discussing from the get-go. In fact, you have the benefit of all the full facts. So you know that the audit itself, the issue around me that I have to speak to is not even more than 5.2 million.
I get that, but we will come there and go into
the...
Yes.
I'm a better say EOCO say or investigating Miracles for 55 million. To the extent say Miracles accountant he started returning the loot. I was livid. I was sad. Obi, I was devastated. I said, what is this? Like, must it be like that? That is where I remembered 2025 in Komona executive in BDS. Yes, because Obi, but for the fact that you want to shut me up, why do you fabricate this and put on me when you know the facts are there? Say facts in one committee here. Only says me, Obi, if you are under investigation for one city, EOCO is enjoined by law to tell you.
Yes.
Yes. But you have told me say you are investigating me for 50 pesos. Why then do you go and put it out and say you're investigating me for 1,500?
1,500.
That for me is where, in fact, throughout the entire EOCO process, I was never worried. For say nobody should, because a process. There's nothing wrong with going through the process. But my sadness was when I came out and I realized that
there was a statement out.
It's a propaganda spin.
55
How?
million.
No organization, organization, somebody handing over no touch.
Yes.
Organization, I
think it was 33 million. But even before, sir, you're bad to come and establish why you think, say, 55 million is spent. No? We have to go into the issues now.
Okay.
Auditors, no, a flag. No? But before that, when you were picked.
You heard him. According to Dennis, EOCO arrested him, detained him, and granted him 50 million Ghana cedis bill, but did not question him about the alleged 55 million Ghana cedis mentioned in the EOCO public statement. That is his account. But then, the Deputy Attorney General, Justice Shrimsai, came out and said something completely different. Listen to him.
Recently, what's his name? Miracles. He came out to say that nobody questioned him about 55 million, that it was questionable. And people believe that. People believe that. Because Miracle is saying it, everybody believes that is the truth. And nobody is even interested in asking EOCO, how do you even conclude that is true? And you see, EOCO is not under any obligation to be responding to things like that. Law enforcement, we are not under any obligation. At the end of the day, we will bring you to court. We will charge you. You will have your day. So whether we ask you about 55 or we ask you about 5, it's not even our headache. Eventually, whatever we find on you, we'll bring it to court. At that point, we have had situations where people have said nothing. In the end, did they not say that they want plea bargaining? When they said no, we came back, they just kept us there, they didn't ask us any question. But the moment they are charged, they said they want plea bargaining. So I want the public to understand that law enforcement, because of the nature of the work we do and because it's investigation, it's not everything that law enforcement can respond to. But that doesn't also mean that lack of responding to some of these things means that the person who is saying it is right or is correct. That's all I want the public to just be very aware of that.
Is Dennis wrong in that when he tells
of course, he's completely wrong. I mean, you cannot say that he was not questioned about 55. Completely wrong.
Was he questioned on the 55 million?
Yes.
I see. So he's out.
Now you have context. So let's go back to what I want to say. Dennis Miracles Aboagye did not reach 5 frozen accounts and 4 restrained properties just working as MCE, Presidential Staffer, Executive Secretary of the IMCCOD. The path is far less flattering than the story coming from the NPP headquarters. A forensic audit examined the Interministerial Coordinating Committee on Decentralization, where Dennis previously served as Executive Secretary. The audit reportedly covered the period from August 2022 to February 2025. Following that audit, the current leadership of the institution petitioned EOCO. EOCO then opens an investigation into an alleged financial and procurement irregularities involving approximately 55 million Ghana cedis. Let us be responsible. Dennis Miracles Aboagye has not been convicted. These remain allegations under investigation. He has every right to defend himself, challenging EOCO and demanding street proof. But 55 million Ghana cedis is not small money. This is public money. So when serious questions arise about how it was handled, the response cannot be limited to this is political prosecution. They are afraid of my communication skills. My brother, your communication skills is not the issue. The money is the issue. We need documents. We need authorizations. We need transaction record. We need to know who approved what, when it was approved, and where the money went. Then we come to another serious allegation. The IMCC Secretariat alleges that the forensic audit uncovered 2 bank accounts that were not included in the official handed over notes. One of those accounts reportedly processed more than 102 million Ghana cedis in transactions. Now listen carefully. 102 million Ghana cedis in transaction does not mean 102 million Ghana cedi was stolen. Transaction value is not the same as proving financial loss, but it is also not a birthday card. So if an account connected to a public institution processed more than 102 million Ghana cedi and was allegedly missing from the official handing over notes, Ghanaians deserve explanation. Why are the accounts not included? Who opened it? Who authorized the transactions? Where did the money come from? Where did it go? And where are the supporting documents? These are not insults. These are elementary accountability questions. The IMCC Secretary has made another allegation. It claimed Dennis arranged a private meeting through a lawyer and a mutual acquaintance and allegedly requested that certain findings involving the account and named entities be removed from the audit. Again, this is an allegation. It must be proven. Dennis has the right to deny it and present his side. But if an institution says a former official attempted to influence what remained in a forensic audit, that cannot be dismissed with political slogan. Dennis says he wants to command the narrative, but the question is whether there was first an attempt to edit the audit. EOCO arrested Dennis after he returned to Ghana. He was detained and eventually granted 50 million bail with sureties. Former IMCC accountant Gerard Appiah was also arrested. EOCO says Appiah began refunding money connected to the investigation. That reported refund does not automatically make Dennis guilty. One person refund money does not establish another's criminal responsibility, but it also makes it difficult to dismiss an entire investigation as an imaginary political exercise, because if nothing happened, what exactly is being refunded? An Accra High Court confirmed an order freezing 5 bank accounts and restraining 4 landed properties connected to Dennis Miracles Aboagye investigations. Once again, freezing an account is not a conviction. Restraining a property does not prove it was acquired with stolen money. The order is intended to preserve the asset whilst investigations examine whether there is a connection to the alleged wrongdoing. But let's stop pretending that a High Court order is equivalent to a Facebook rumor. EOCO went before a court. It presented an application and the court granted a preservation order. That is where the public relations campaign met its first locked door. Presumption of innocence matters. It protects Dennis. It protects NDC officials. It protects NPP officials. It protects every Ghanaian accused of wrongdoing. But presumption of innocence is a legal protection. It is not a magic eraser. It does not erase an audit. It does not answer financial questions. It does not unfreeze bank accounts. And it does not release restrained properties. Dennis can challenge the freezing order. He can ask the court to vary or revoke it. He can demand that EOCO prove the connection between each asset and the transaction under investigation. That is how innocence is defended through law and evidence, not by moving from one radio station to another until the allegation becomes dizzy. The questions remain simple. Was Dennis questioned about 55 million or not? What money entered the disputed account? Who authorized the transactions? Why were the accounts allegedly missing from the handing over notes? When were the restrained properties acquired? What evidence connect them to the matter under investigation? And what explanation does Dennis have? If Dennis's version is correct, EOCO must answer for publicly connecting him to the amount that was allegedly never raised during his interrogation. But if the Deputy Attorney General account is correct, then Dennis must explain why he told the public that the 55 million was never discussed. That contradiction cannot be solved by shouting. It cannot be settled by party headquarters, and it cannot be buried under the phrase presumption of innocence. It can only be resolved by records. Dennis Miracles Aboagye want to command the narrative, but the narrative are not evidence. Radio interviews are not audit responses, and confidence is not an acquittal. Guilty has not been proven, but the audits, the petition, the investigation, and the High Court orders are not inventions. Dennis want to command the narrative, but the High Court has commanded the assets.